Hey everyone, it's friend Tony. We've got breaking news. HBO are close to sealing the deal on a Game of Thrones Targaryen prequel. It's not going to be the same one as the Age of Heroes, Long Night, Blood Moon or whatever it's called. That's an entirely different prequel. As of this video, that prequel has filmed its pilot episode and we're waiting to see if HBO pick it up for series. But this new prequel that's supposedly in development is going to be based on the Targaryen history and it's going to have lots of dragons. The Targaryen Civil War, the Dance of Dragons, which is basically Targaryens and Dragons fighting each other, is meant to be a big part of it. But no doubt fans would also love to see the earlier stages of the Targaryens, such as when Aegon the Conqueror first conquered the kingdoms of Westeros. But Targaryens fighting each other on dragons, that equals money. This was always going to happen. It's meant to be based on the Fire and Blood book that George R.R. released last year, and it's actually going to be helmed by George R.R., which is always a plus. I always like him involved in the TV shows. And also someone else, Colony co-creator and executive producer Ryan Condal. I'm not familiar with him at all, but this series is meant to be a brand new take on what Brian Cogman was supposedly working on back when his prequel script was turned down. He was working on some sort of Fire and Blood Targaryen story. HBO turned it down and they're not going ahead with his stuff, but it seems like they've given it another chance, given other people a chance at the Fire and Blood material. And Brian Cogman is not doing that bad himself, he's working with Amazon and Lord of the Rings. But back to the Game of Thrones stuff, Targaryens and Dragons are going to make a lot of people happy. The Long Night prequel is kind of like a Westeros prequel. You're going to have the Starks and the Lannisters and the White Walkers. So you could say they're making a Westeros Stark prequel and also a Westeros Targaryen prequel. Two of the most popular houses are going to get their own series. And that makes total sense. They're the two most popular families in the series. And George R.R. Martin has hinted at this for some time now. He's been saying some of the prequel stuff is going to be based on Fire and Blood. You might want to check that book out. Makes perfect sense, it'll boost the sales of his book, and also everyone loves dragons and Targaryens. If you don't know about Fire and Blood, it chronicles the Targaryen history from Aegon the Conqueror to the Dance of Dragons, the Targaryen Civil War, which is meant to be a big part of this series. Think Targaryens killing each other whilst riding dragons. That's epic. You thought Game of Thrones was awesome with its dragons, it had 3, we're talking several dragons, a lot more. And this is what a lot of people wanted. The Age of Heroes prequel sounds interesting and all that, but it's not everyone's first choice. They've already done the White Walkers, and it kind of feels cheap in my opinion. Basically, tune into the prequel to find out what Season 8 missed, find out the true origin of the White Walkers. But I'm still interested in that prequel, but a Targaryen prequel, that's a lot more exciting. My only main concern is the fact there's going to be so many dragons that we might get a cop-out in terms of their designs. I don't want them to all be reskins of Drogon. Make them different designs, different sizes and shapes and colours. But this is awesome news. Obviously this was always going to happen at some point, but this is a lot sooner than I thought. I don't think it affects the Blood Moon prequel at all. I think HBO's overall plan is to have at least 2 Game of Thrones shows running in the same year. Because the pilot for The Long Night has already been done, it's likely that show might air first, if it even gets a show, because right now it's only in pilot stage, but it'll probably make its own show. Maybe one in the springtime, which is Game of Thrones' original slot, put one of the prequels in April, and then the other one later in that year. Game of Thrones is HBO's moneymaker, it's their biggest show. People unsubscribe from HBO when Game of Thrones ends, when it goes off the air. And obviously now it's finished now, the main series is done, Season 8's left a bad taste in people's mouths. They weren't as excited for the prequel as they could have been. But I think Targaryens and Dragons are going to bring a lot of people back. Even though we know their Targaryen line kind of ends, and it kind of sucks. Jon Snow kills Daenerys and then is sent to the Wall, but then he leaves north of the Wall to live his life out there. Kinda sucks for the Targaryens. But what happens in the past, that's exciting. So guys, let me know your thoughts on the Targaryen prequel. What do you want to see? Would you like to see some sort of prologue in Valyria explaining where they came from? Explaining that they survived the Doom of Valyria with their dragons? Maybe into Aegon the Conqueror? And all the way up to Dance of Dragons. There's lots of material, and I think George R.R. Martin's got plans of writing another Fire and Blood book, which will chronicle the Targaryen history after the Civil War. Obviously with the Game of Thrones stuff it's been quiet on the channel, but when you get stuff like this I'll always make videos. I'll always love Game of Thrones, no matter what happened in Season 8. That's 2 potential prequels now, and it's likely going to get bigger. They're not going to stop here. Game of Thrones is going to keep happening until it stops making money, which is not going to be anytime soon. If you want to get more Game of Thrones videos, make sure you subscribe and then ring the little bell to turn the notifications on. And also I'd really appreciate a like on this video, it helps me out so much and I really appreciate it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.